Hello, friends. Hi. Happy Monday. I hope it's going well. I hope you had a good weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy time zone wherever you are. I hope the weather is okay wherever you are. It's rainy here in the greater Vancouver area, which is nothing new, no surprise. But it's the end of a week-long stretch of sun and warm weather that we had. So we're kind of back to rain and a little bit of chilly air, but that's okay because we're going to do some fun, creative things today. So we're going to relax right into it. Hi, Pop Out Gal. How's it going, friend? Hi, Jessie. How was your weekend? What have you been up to? Let me know. And if you have had any recent acquisitions that you're really excited about, share it with us. And, be prepared for us to congratulate you and ask questions because we're like that here. Also, did you see the Artemis 2 mission crew touchdown and return back to Earth safe and sound last week? Because that was awesome to watch live. Yeah, just amazing. I watched it with my kids and they were floored. They were so excited. Also, one of my daughters, they're both 7, and one of them, she was like, oh, so does that mean Christina's hair is not floating anymore? Yes, she was concerned about the hair just being free and floating in space. So that was kind of cute and also really fun to watch with them. You bald, Papa Gal. Yeah, it was so amazing. I was speechless and just so happy. And as a Canadian, we are super, super proud that there was a Canadian astronaut who was included, Jeremy Hansen. And that's all we've been talking about. So it's been really cool to have one of our astronauts in space and journey the furthest that anyone has ever gone. All 4 of them are poets and incredible humans, right? And probably what we needed in this time. Something to distract us and something to really bring back some hope. And I hope that kind of opens doors for more missions and more space adventures. And hopefully lets, encourage us kids now, right? Young kids that are watching this to hopefully aim for more than what they may think they're capable of doing, just by watching, who's able and who's really pushing in terms of, doing what they want to do in life. I thought that was really good, cool. Fountain Pen News, hi, you made it. Did you get the alert or did you just know? Sometimes Twitch be twitching, so, alerts and things like that. Notifications. Lovely weekend. You'd be proud of how much I played with my stationery and watercolors. Yay, Pop Out Gal. I'm clapping for you. That's awesome. My weekend was pretty chill. We went out for lunch yesterday at just a local place, and it was really nice. And yeah, just kind of doing things. It's spring cleaning time, so time to, get the garden ready, time to sort of clean up and be prepared for more outdoor time too. My nephew, he's like 40, has been in talks with NASA for years. Oh, that's awesome. Maybe they'll go somewhere now, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in terms of like, I hope that it sort of opens more doors for people to do things. And I think my feeling too is that just based on how engaged people were and how they were kind of rooting for these astronauts, I hope that also, shows NASA and Canadian Space Agency and all space agencies around the world that, people are involved. Like, people want to be involved in these missions and see pictures, see video, see live streams. Those were so much fun to watch. Just answering questions from space, right? Like, especially when kids kind of wonder these things, like, why is our hair floating freely? And, why is this and that? And it's kind of fun to get the astronauts to answer, these questions while they're in space, too. Super, super cool. Yeah. Yeah, I can't say much about what he does now, but let's just say he's certified to fly over 60 planes and helicopters. Amazing. I also want to say kudos to all the women that were part of this mission. Like, there were, back in mission control and even part of the team that helped the astronauts out of integrity and, into the helicopters and back to the ship and stuff like that. Like, lots of women were involved and, called out by name. And I don't know, as a girl mom, I'm just kind of encouraged by that because I can kind of point and say, like, girls, this is something you could do too if you wanted to, right? Like, it's kind of fun. Speaking of women, have you guys seen Hidden Figures? I haven't. What is that? You did get the notification. Okay, awesome. I still have trauma from watching the Challenger. Oh, you saw that live. Oh, yeah. So to see them come back home safely healed a part of me. Yeah, we definitely needed this mission. I think, yeah, for you especially, who went through the trauma of seeing the Challenger, and then having this happen, and, the crew get back perfectly in time, like everything was synced. Everything happened the way that they expected. There were no little mistakes or anything that kind of concerned anyone. And to watch it happen so perfectly, I think we all needed this, right? Just to believe in things again, to be like, okay, things could work out. Like, things could have a happy ending. And they were super, super cool too. Like, those astronauts are amazing, and definitely worthy of looking up to and trying to follow in their footsteps. There were a number of women of color people of color too, involved in the space program in the 1960s. Totally no credit given. Yeah, exactly. And I felt like this time they were called out by name, right? I think that's important. So that they are real people, very smart people, and they're part of this mission to bring everyone home safely, right? And I felt like the inclusion and diversity in the group of astronauts that went up, I thought like we could all kind of relate to at least one person there, right? So I loved it. My kids loved it. So it's like everything we've been talking about, right? It's the astronauts. And then a little bit of Coachella, if you're into music and festivals and, Coachella vibes, watching it. My girls are super into DJing. So, doing like DJ or like watching DJs and listening to music that's, mixed and stuff. They were super impressed by that too. So a little bit of everything, really. Everything good. Excellent movie. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love seeing so many women and women of color in STEM. I love seeing more programs too being offered to younger kids, like in elementary school and middle school, with STEM programs and courses and things that they could do just to kind of get them into science, into technology and stuff. So it's really good to see that as well. Hi, Hellcat. How's it going? What were you up to this weekend? Anything fun? All right, Catherine Johnson. Let's see if I can. There we go. American human computer whose calculation of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee was critical to the success of the first and subsequent U.S. crewed space flights. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, I'll look at this later. Did you know that Nick Pasquale runs a roller rink in Nashville and is a great DJ? No, I did not know that. That's super, super cool. Wow. Talk about just all around fun things to do and to make pens. That's amazing. My husband got a DJ set a year and a half ago, and has been so slowly sort of adding to it and, playing around with music. And my girls have also gotten into it, right? So obviously, let me do it too, let me try. And so they've all been kind of learning together, and it's really, really fun to watch. But I feel like kids nowadays, and with the next generations, I feel like they just are more in tune with technology. They find it easier to figure these things out, probably faster than I did even in my day, right, as a kid. And they just find it's just like almost innate to them how quickly they can pick up on how to use technology, how to figure things out, how to problem solve. And the more we can help them practice that, I think the better it is for their future. So kind of, throwing them into technology and being like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to figure this out? It's really fun to watch them problem solve it and kind of naturally figure it out and show us how to use things. So I feel really old sometimes. You're fixing the kitchen sink. Pen Club got 3 new pens. Oh, that's awesome. What pens did you get? One of my bestie's daughter is in Hidden Figures. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. I did not know. Yeah. We keep trying to get him to share some of his stuff on Spotify. Yes. Please keep on him, because other people want to listen like me. I'm sure a lot of people will be into that. So, all right. While we chat, let's get into what we're going to do today. Oh, also, before I do that, actually, over the weekend, if you are into planners and journals, I shared my Q1 recap. Of how it's going in my planners and journals, flip throughs, and also just, how things are going, and also my April setup. So how I'm starting Q2 in my notebooks and planners. Some changes, minor changes, I would say. Nothing huge, but enough to, change things up a little bit. Freshen things up as well. So a few things I got at the SF Stationery Fest that I'm using now. So really happy about that. But check out my Substack if you like sort of long form blog post content and you like reading about things. But also there's a YouTube video at the end of that Substack post, or if you follow me on YouTube from Corolla, then you would have gotten a notification, hopefully, that my latest video about the Q1 recap is also live. So take a look at that if that interests you. Yes, I'm into all kinds of stationery, pens included, but also notebooks and planners and journals. So if you're watching the recap or replay, or you're tuning in live for the first time, I'm Corolla on socials. I'm from Corolla, And yeah, I like to share all kinds of stationery things. So if you have questions or comments, or you want to tell us what you like about stationery as well, or what you're enjoying using, definitely throw it in the chat because we like to share that. Mad Science Pocket Pen, Artisan Ink, and a Ranga Model 3 eyedropper. Very cool. I'm very intrigued by Ranga. I've never tried their pens, but I keep hearing about them after pen shows, so definitely something I want to try out one day. Thanks, Cheese. I appreciate you. Got a sample of Inky Converter's blue-tongued skink. Now I want a bottle. Whoa, what is that? Great ebonite pens. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Oh. It brought up the animal. Inky Converters. Oh, okay. It's taking me, here we go. It's taking me to Etsy. It's all good. Take a look at that real quick. Very cute, this little guy. Blue-tongued skink. Huh. I like it. I like the blue. Is it blue with purple or brown shading? Or the other way around? It's like, it looks very blue, but then it doesn't here. Very cool though. Very interesting. I like these interesting inks. Also, hi, G's. Pannonia did her ink, yeah. Pannonia does good collaboration inks. I got a new pen from Rob's Pen Works. It glows in the dark. Oh, amazing. I do like Rob's pens. You've been meaning to get a sample of it? Yeah, it looks very cool. It's brown with blue shading. Okay, gotcha. I don't know, either way would be really nice. I'm into brown, I'm into blue. Yeah, yay for new pen days. I've been drawn to funky inks. You know what, Hellcat? I kind of have been too. Like, inks that have secondary properties that are really cool and different. I guess because I'm kind of, you know, it's spring, it's summer. It's time to try new things, and I'm feeling that. You know, I feel like I want to try new inks, try new, like, combinations. It just makes it interesting. Andorilium. Mote Eel Green. Ooh. Moray. Eel green. That was an eel. That's a nice green though. I like this type of green. The shade. Like a yellow, a green yellow. Very cool. That's awesome. I've been wanting one of Rob's pens. I've been added. Oh, you've been added to the 2027 commission list. Awesome. Do you know what you want, or you're just kind of like thinking about it for now? Yeah, Rob's pens are cool. Very cool. All right. Well, while we chat, what I wanted to do today was do some drawing practice. So, but I'm going to try out 2 new notebooks. One actually that I haven't used yet, except for a little bit of swatching in the back just to test it out. And I really enjoy the paper. And it's one of the new ones that people are kind of, you know, there's a lot of buzz about this. People are trying it out, and if you have tried it, I'd love to get your take on what you think about it. But it's a Canopus note, and it's from Yamamoto paper, and I got this notebook at the SF Pen Show last year, but I haven't really used it except to test it out, and I figured that I would kind of test it out or use it with, some drawing because it's blank. So instead of writing in it, which, you can, because they have a guide sheet that's included, I thought that I would use it to draw some flowers in it. So Canopus note or Canopus paper, it's won the best paper last year. Where is this? It said somewhere. But it's new, right? It's the Yamamoto sort of not equivalent, but similar to, if you like, Cosmo Air Light. But they've improved, or they've kind of worked on certain qualities and properties of the paper to improve the feel of it while you're writing, and the vibrancy and sort of how it reflects inks, so that it's fountain pen friendly, and also you can use other supplies and really enjoy writing on this type of paper. So I thought that was very, very cool. And so I'm going to try this notebook, and if I really enjoy drawing in it, then I'll continue doing that, but it's more of a test for now. So, and then the other one you've probably heard of and you may have tried before is the Midori, or MD paper as they've rebranded, cotton paper notebook. So whereas Midori is kind of known for their cream paper, which is smooth, nice and cream, they also have cotton paper notebooks, and cotton paper is slightly textured. It feels soft, and it's great for, you could still use all of your stationery supplies. You could use inks, fountain pens, etc. But I think it's ideal for graphite, pencil, and coloring pencils as well. So that's how I'm going to use this. I got this last year as well, and I tested it out with pencil. Love, love, love the feel of graphite on this type of paper. Like I said, it's very soft, but it's very slightly textured so that you kind of feel the feedback or the catch on pencils. So it feels really, really nice. So I did kind of start it from the front. The back was kind of the tester pages, and so I really liked it. So I've started in the front. I'm just going to kind of continue using coloring pencils and pencil and a fine liner in here. So if that interests you and you're intrigued, then, join me. And we'll kind of test it out together, have fun with it. Actually, I'll start with this notebook, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm hoping that this will be kind of my next sketchbook, drawing notebook, but we'll see. I'm thinking about it for now. Definitely glow in the dark. Definitely. That would be amazing. He's one of the first guys to mix different materials. Very cool. Canopus is my favorite notebook. Cool. Okay, so to draw flowers, I use this reference book. It's called the Flower Color Guide by Taylor and Michael Putnam. If you've joined my previous streams, you may have seen me talk about this book. It's a great coffee table book because, you could sort of rifle through it and see different photos of reference flowers. And it's in color format. So it's formatted so that it's in by color, and all kinds of different flowers that you may find, across different seasons and places. And I find it very, very cool to draw from reference photos as a practice, and I find it relaxing because it's something I can look at and just try and mimic onto paper. But also it's great for muscle memory, or if you want to sort of work on being able to draw flowers from memory later. If you're practicing from looking at references, then you're more likely to be able to pull those shapes out of your memory and also allow your hand to sort of feel comfortable with those lines. So if it's your first time drawing something, of course, you're going to feel a little uncomfortable, awkward, like, am I doing it right? The more you do it, the more it becomes a practice, the more comfortable you feel drawing those lines, and trusting in the process and trusting that you'll be able to draw what you see because you've done it before. And so as you practice, the more confidence you build. And I always say that with my kids as well. You have to do it more than just a few times to feel comfortable, to feel good about it, and to feel like you're doing it correctly. So that also goes to anything art related or creativity related. You have to work those muscles, those creative muscles, to be able to feel confident that you're doing it correctly. Rob has a literal PhD? What? That's amazing. I did not know that. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know a lot about Rob. I met him once in person at the SF Pen Show last year. But obviously follow him online. Love his work. But yeah, I don't know a ton about Rob. Seems like a very cool person though. Very nice, right? Just a nice person. Nice to chat to as well. Yeah, he is a nice guy. I pop out, guy. I just saw your comment. The nicest. I feel like I'm spilling a lot of tea today. Spill more. I'm having a coffee, but you know what? I'm here for the tea. All good tea, though. These are all good things. Nick is a DJ, right? He also has a roller rink. Rob is a really nice guy. Makes amazing pens and glow-in-the-dark pens. These are all things we're learning today. Okay, so I already picked out the flowers that I want to practice because I love this shape. So this is an echinacea, and this shape that this takes on, or the petals take on, are similar to like daisies, or it's a very familiar shape if you're drawing flowers. And so if you're starting out or you just want to do something that's a little bit easy, then go with a shape that you've seen in nature. Go with something that triggers memories where you're like, yes, this makes sense. I've seen this before. I understand this. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, because I just want to practice and test out these papers. I don't want to think too much about, a new flower shape or something like that. So, taking a look at the photo, I've just picked out some colors that I think work really well to sort of capture what I'm seeing here in terms of coloring and mixes of colors. And I'm using Tombow dual brush pens for this. So if you have brush markers, I'm going to show you a way of using them if you want to put color on paper. That's not your typical assumed way of using these brush markers. So normally what you would do with markers is you would transfer color from the marker directly onto paper, right? You're coloring or you're drawing or adding, shapes on paper. Another way you could do that is by transferring color onto a laminated sheet like this. Tombow has one called the blending palette, and on one side it's a blank sort of space. On the other side is the color chart, so it's a reference of all of their brush markers that they have available. So it's kind of useful If you are trying to pick out colors to play with, you could use that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer color from the markers onto the blending palette and then pick up the color from the palette using what's called a colorless blender. And it's N00 is the number of the marker. And these colorless blenders come in their 10 packs. So at Michael's or, stationery stores, if you see Tombow brush markers in sets, if it's a 10-pack set, then most likely you're going to get a colorless blender. And when, usually if you're kind of new to brush markers and Tombow in general, you might wonder what this is for. And you're like, it's so useless because it has no color to it. It's actually one of the most useful markers that they have because you could do so much with this. And you can kind of push yourself in terms of techniques of using brush markers. So that's why I love this pen or marker. And one of the ways you can use it is by picking up color because it has no color assigned to it. So it works like a typical brush marker. It's a dual tip. So one side you do have the bullet tip or fine point, and then on the other side you have that fat brush. Really, really nice and broad. So you could do hand lettering, you could do brush strokes, you could color with this and really have fun with it. So what I'm going to do is use this to do the coloring. So transferring color from the blending palette onto paper. And why you do that is to get more of a watercolor effect. So it looks a lot softer. Your colors are easier to blend that way. And if you want to mix colors and get, your own shade of something, sort of an in-between interesting color, then blending them and mixing them on a blending palette is kind of your best option of doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, like I said, transfer the color onto the blending palette. And then I'm going to just going to kind of add it to paper and blend it as I go. And even though I picked out some colors that I think are reflected in the photo, they may not necessarily be the exact colors I'm looking for. So if there's kind of, two shades that I can blend and mix together to get me an optimal color, something close enough to what I'm seeing, then that's cool. And the other thing is when I am drawing from a reference photo, I try not to harp on making my drawing look exactly like what I'm seeing, and more on the process of doing it. So that's always where I find joy, is the process of creating versus the end product of what I create. And so I try and sort of not overthink it. If it doesn't look exactly like this, it's not a big deal, and just kind of have fun with it. So, hey, Spicy Miso, how's it going? Comes in with the party. Hey Bailey, how's it going, friend? How have you been? Spicy with the cat photos. I love it. I rolled and inked up Roaring Klinger Salix. Now I can't find the bottle. Oh no, what? You have a missing bottle. Spicy, you found a weird book size the other day. Oh, you found your first Dune book in P6 Slim. That's super weird. That's an odd size for sure. Yeah, when kids don't go to sleep when they're supposed to go to sleep. Oh man, 1 a.m. Yeah, that's tough. And you know that the next day they're going to be in a mood, they're going to be tired, You don't want to deal with it. You're like, just go to sleep. Just get the sleep that you need, right? Yeah, we all need coffee and tea. My allergies are also acting up, so if you're in that boat, I feel you. Well, you're in time, Spicy and Bailey, you're in time for me to actually start doing the thing I wanted to do today, which is fine. But I'm just using this reference photo of Echinacea to do a little bit of drawing practice. So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna dive in. And so if you've never used a colorless blender, when you start to, what you do is you transfer the color onto here. So basically brush to color, and then you'll see that the color is on the brush tip. And then you start coloring on paper. So you'll see it on paper, and it's a very soft tone. So you're not gonna see like a super saturated color unless you're using a very bright and vibrant color to start with. But what I really like is being able to use the lighter colors to kind of plan out where each element is going to be. So where my flowers are going to be. And just by eyeballing what I see, I kind of leave a little bit of space, and I just do that first layer. And then the great thing is you can layer color on top of color by basically doing the same thing, just transferring color onto the colorless blender and adding it to paper. So I like starting with the light color because it's less pressure. So if I feel like something doesn't look right, or I want it to look a little bigger or something like that, then I can always go over it with a darker color and fix it. Or readjust as needed. And of course, if you start with a light color, then you can layer darker colors on top. Versus if you start with a dark color, you can't lighten it up. I mean, you could, but it just takes a few extra steps, and it's way easier to just start with the light. Maybe something here, and maybe something there. So if you're just joining, I'm trying out the Canopus note from Yamamoto papers. And it's their sort of latest paper that they've come out with. Lots of buzz about, what this paper is and how it compares to other discontinued papers, maybe like a Cosmo Air Light. Or how you sort of like it compared to what's already out there, like TRP or something. So yeah, if you've used it, let me know what you think. Or if you are into bank paper or Cosmo Air Light or something like that, this might be worth checking out. If it's available, I don't know. I've seen that it could be sold out in some places. Although I think they're probably coming back in stock, so. Okay, so actually, now that I have the first layer, I'm gonna go in with the darker color on some of these flowers. So I think 1, 2, maybe this one a little bit, and add a little bit more color. So this is where I start layering a little bit. I hate spring. Yeah, especially for allergies is not fun. That part of spring. I don't like taking naps during the day because then I end up sleeping for too long. So, yeah, for me, it's like if I have a long night, it's usually like caffeine me up. I also deal with sleep paralysis, so taking naps are not fun because I usually wake up and I can't move. And yeah, it's not a good experience. So I try not to nap if I can. Oh, you can talk about it here, spicy. I have one of my daughters is on the spectrum, so um, in Europe. It's such a pain to get it. Yeah. I don't know that actor. What's he been in? His favorite thing to do is sleep. Oh, I feel that. And yet, I also think that when I'm sleeping, I'm missing out on so much and I have so much to do. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I know who he is. Um, I end up napping past my alarm. Yeah, that also happens. Yeah, especially if you're sick or you have a migraine, right? Yeah. Yeah, Peaky Blinders and Oppenheimer. And a lot of other movies, I feel like he plays. I like the characters that he plays that who are like up to no good. Sometimes a villain, but also just like the sneaky characters. I like that. He's really good at it. Yeah, that's a good Paul Pal gal. I second that. You're in a safe space. We are kind to each other here. No stigmas allowed. Yeah, he's amazing. For sure. All right, and then this one has a little bit of this pink color. Okay. He's a whole vibe, and I'm right there with him. Yeah, he is a whole vibe. Speaking of space, and astronauts and being amazed, has anyone watched Project Hail Mary? And what are your thoughts? Because I still have to see it. I know. Kind of surprised I haven't yet, but I've heard good things, so I feel like my expectations are that it's going to be really, really good. Hopefully it is. Okay. Now I'm going to add the green. So kind of pulling this all together so they're not just floating flower heads. My internet went down again. Sorry for the small rant. That's okay. No worries. You're allowed to rant. As long as it's not at us. Don't at me. Yeah, we're here to listen. If you want to share, share. Share away. Project Hail Mary made its way to one of your favorite movies? Wow. Okay. Well, look, I've already hyped it up in my head because Ryan Gosling, right? I'm a fan already. Like, say no more. But I just feel like any movie he's in, I'm in. Just because he plays characters really well and does it in an interesting way. And he's great. He's a great actor. So what I did see of, like the trailer and stuff of the movie, I was like, okay, I'm already in. So I just think anything space related right now would probably be very, very easy to get into. just because we're on that space kick right now. So give me all of the space content. Okay. Ooh. There's this one. And then some leaves, probably. Here. Here. There. Okay, maybe I'll leave it at that. Aw, I'm sad, Spicy. We're sending you all hugs and good vibes. You're allowed to feel your feelings, but just know that we're here to support you. And if you need to talk, you can talk to us. And I'm Newbie. It's a great movie. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. You're a movie nerd, Papa Gal? I don't know if I knew this about you. You watch all of the movies. I love that. I'm waiting to watch it until I read the book. I'm just a slow reader. It might be a while. I know. I do like reading. I like reading books that are movies or shows, but sometimes I do it in opposite orders. Like sometimes I like reading the books first, then watching the show or the movie, knowing that it's probably not going to follow exactly the storyline because, you know, they're adapting it to screen. But I also like doing it the other way around sometimes, especially if it's a movie that, you know, I want to watch right away. Then I'll probably watch it and then get to the book at some point. And I often find, I don't know about you, but I often find that I love the books more. Because I think I just imagine, like, I just get lost in the world of what I'm reading and I imagine it in different ways and stuff. And when you watch the show or the movie, you're watching it from someone else's point of view or from their eyes, right? And I don't always imagine it the way that I see it on screen. So I always find my stories are way better in my head. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Ryan Gosling. He's perfect. Every movie he does always ends up being well done. Yeah. I agree. Rumor has it that the alien will be part of Marcel universe. Oh. You thought it was a fantasy book? Spoiler, it was not. Yeah, Ryan Gosling is a nice dude. He's Canadian. He's a good Canadian. Very kind and seems like overall a well-rounded person. So Penultimate Inks recently launched his site and put out space-themed inks. That's awesome. My favorite is probably Dark Side of the Moon. Oh, let's see. You have a code, Bailey, you say? If anyone's interested, let Bailey know. Save some money. Let's see. Dark Side of the Moon. Let's take a look at this real quick. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. There's only one swatch. Deep purple gray. Cool. Light shimmer. That's awesome. Ink for when you want to feel like you're in space. You know what? That does it. Yeah, that explains it. Inspired by the orbit around the moon. Yeah. That was very cool when they orbited around the moon. On the dark side of the moon. That's nice. That's a nice ink. I like it. Aw, no problem, Spicy. Hopefully everything will be over soon. Hopefully everything works out for you. For sure. We're sending you good thoughts. For Project Hail Mary, I highly recommend the audiobook. I love that fountain pen use. If there's an audiobook version that people actually recommend, I am in. Because I love audiobooks. I get so much done while listening to a book. That's amazing. It's always like when I'm doing chores or like just, you know, making dinner or whatever I'm doing, having an audiobook plugged in, it's amazing. If you ask Wheel of Time fans, they will tell you they don't want a show. Fair enough. Some stories should not be adapted to screen just because they can't be told the same way a book is. But when it's really popular, you know, people just want to watch it, I guess. Not everyone likes to read. Not everyone can read. So nothing is funnier to me than Ryan Gosling trying not to crack up. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can imagine that. That's, yeah. He's a small maker? Okay, that's good to know. Awesome. Is he, where is he located? Do you know? Where is he based out of? Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing your code, Bailey. If anyone wants to use it to get some ink. Our library is discontinued reciprocity. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait, it's here. I got it. Which means we can't use Libby with them anymore. Oh, that sucks. Libby is amazing. Oh, can you use a library that's close to you or no? People, I recommend you getting this chroma shader, the Stormy Purple Gray. Oh. Bah. Ink Dependence Mike. Okay, I'll take a look. Yeah, purple grays are nice. Especially if you're not like a purple person. If you're not super into purple inks, I like off purples, like purple mixed with something as well. Purple blues, blurples. Pretty sure he's in the States, yeah. I assumed. I can ship you this one. Ooh, it's exclusive but worth having. Yeah, you get some nice things too, Spicy. Some. A few. I I always kind of not laugh, but I'm always kind of amused when there are inks that are found in Canada versus the States or somewhere else, and I'm like, what? I can actually get this ink without having to pay a ton of shipping. That's amazing. And add a little bit more dark color on top just to give a little bit of contrast. If you want something to look 3D or a little bit more dynamic and stand out, just layer colors. Honestly, just keep layering. And what you'll find is it starts to look like there's more to it, and it's just colors on top of colors. And so you can play with creating shadows or highlights, but also just to make it look like it's not flat. All right. Oh, actually, I wanted to add a little bit more petals here. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, put that there. Let's see. Exclusive inks. Yeah, you hate that about the hobby. I know. Sometimes they're hard to get. Sometimes they're only available for a limited time. And sometimes they go really, really quickly. So I wonder what's happening with Tasha. Oh, you're having trouble with 2 inks now? Okay, so now that I have basically drawn the outlines and added color and looks pretty good. What I want to do is I want to add some details. So obviously, some of the flowers here, they have light colored petals. So, they're very hard to see just by color only. And so I have a few flowers like that here. This one, this one, this one, something here probably. And what I do is to add a little bit of detail. That way, when you're looking at it, it looks more like, the flowers that you're seeing here, to me anyways. So it's kind of a nice practice as well, because again, I'm going over those shapes and committing them to memory, at least practicing them a little bit. And so I use a Tombow drawing pen in 005. This is their thinnest point, finest point. And so it's kind of like a ultra extra fine or needlepoint nib almost. And I like using something as fine as this because it doesn't take over the color. So when I'm adding detail, it's not covering up what I've already put on paper. Because I want to see the color. I don't want to see just black line. So I'm kind of following those natural shapes, so I'm not drawing anything new. Just basically following the outlines that I've already put in. You feel like you can reach out and touch them. Amazing. You plan to have 10 bottles of golden wheat. Oh yeah, that's the one that you haven't been able to find, right? You'll have enough for 10 lifetimes. I mean, depending on how fast you go through it. I feel like you're always Spicy's always using a kiwi, so who knows? You're not a hoarder. You're a user though. You like these things that you get. Yeah, not wanting to. It's a real fear, right? When you find an ink that you really enjoy, first of all, you don't want to finish the bottle because then you're like, oh, then I have to get another bottle. But what if you finish that ink bottle and you can't find any more? Like Spicy's finding, right? Like sold out everywhere or maybe even discontinued. Then what? Then you're going to have to hunt for alternatives, something that may look similar, but it's not going to be the same. So, yeah, that's a real thing. Or you have to pay a lot more if you're buying it from a reseller or something. Or if it comes back and all of a sudden everyone wants that one, of course. It's the frustrating aspects of the fountain pen hobby. Rubik's, thanks so much for the follow. Thanks for being here. I'm just getting caught up in what I'm doing. And there are people chatting. Hi, Needle Girl. How's it going? You finished one bottle already. Spicy. That is an accomplishment. To be fair, I did a lot of drawing and lots of school stuff. Yeah, it went down fast. There will always be another ink, right? That's what we have to keep reminding ourselves of. Like, don't worry. You'll find something. Hopefully. Ask Lisa. She'll find you something. Yeah, you accidentally broke the bottle. That's too bad. You're briefly here in between meetings. Well, I'm glad you were here at all. That's good. That's awesome. Yes, Akibi, the love of your life. I didn't say it. Bailey did. I agree, though. Yeah, don't they know it's stream time? Come on. Stream first, then meetings. There are priorities. How's it that I order things weeks to months apart and they all arrive on the same day and I look like a crazy person, right? You're like, wait, what? I waited long enough in between those packages. Although it's kind of a fun feeling too, right? Like to get everything and you're like, whoa, all these things that you can unbox. You did try Cafe Crema, but it was flat compared to Tsuchi. Yeah, has depth and shading. It's the stuff that you can't, like, it's not just standard, right? It's the things that they've added, the properties to make it the way it is, so. It's a conspiracy, yeah. They don't want you to follow the stream. I can't. Oh, this looks peaceful and lovely. Thank you, Rubik's. I spent quite a bit of time to replicate Akibi and Tsuchi on my iPad. Yeah, it doesn't come out as nicely. I think I have 3 in my mailbox. You're just too tired to get them. I would get them for you, Bailey, if I could. Because I want to see. 2 of them were taking a detour around the country waiting for the Van Ness one. That's how it is. That's how it is. You're like, why are you not here yet? You should be here. And you're not. Although I do like it when sometimes you get mail earlier than you expected. I was tracking something last week. And it was meant to get here this week. But it came on Friday. And I was like, yes! Amazing. This never happens. Barely happens. But when it does, it's a great feeling. By the way, on Thursday last week, I got my, you may have seen my Instagram story. I got my Murky Pond Water, the latest ink from the Coffee Monsters Co. and Robert Oster. And I had a sample before, but I needed a bottle, of course. So I'm glad the bottle came. Okay. I'm just gonna go with that. There isn't a lot of color here, but That's okay. I love this emote. Emotes are fun, aren't they? I'm gonna run off and sneak in a nap before my youngest gets home. Well, enjoy your nap, Bailey. You deserve it. Stop it, Vanessa. I didn't buy a planner. I'm living in chaos. Spicy. It's cute too. It's April. What are we doing? It's all good. I think you mentioned using a notebook or something to log your tasks, right? As long as you're using something, chaotic or otherwise. Keep yourself organized in some way, whatever way works. Yeah, enjoy your nap. I will, Bailey. I will post it on social media. Thank you. Dream about buying more? Yeah. That's how wish lists work too. Make a wish list and then walk away. Don't get the ink, just walk away. And then it's like you get that sort of rush of like adding it to a list, but all right. I think I'm good. It's hard to sort of see the lighter colors, but it's okay. Actually, let me take out this guide sheet because I don't really need it. That's real cool. Very cool. Good. Very nice. So I didn't expect it to bleed through or anything, but sometimes when you're working with water-based dye inks in marker form and you're kind of, layering colors, sometimes it could warp the paper a little bit or scratch off, the coating if there's coating on the paper. And sometimes you get like buckling or like water spots. Right, so you can see a little bit here as it's drying, just because I put a lot of color on a concentrated space. But this paper feels really nice to work with. Coloring on it, drawing on it feels really smooth, but not too shiny texture-wise. Like it's not like it's too slick or anything. Has great grip, but it does feel very nice and smooth, and the colors look great. Just in terms of the depth of it, and still, looks very bright and vibrant and stuff. So I have to try out some darker colors next time, just to test it out, like reds and pinks and purples. But from what I'm seeing, it looks great. So I'm good with that. I'm just going to swatch, or maybe I will put this here. I will swatch the colors just so I know what I used. All right, so let's see. Seven, 6, 1. 3. 817. 158. 026 and 969. Okay, and then this is let's write it here. So echinacea in pink, and they are a summer seasonal flower. Very cool. Very cool. I'm really happy with this paper. As much as I'm glad that the drawing worked out, I'm very happy with the paper. I was hoping not to feel I wouldn't say turned off by it, because I did test it and I did like it. But sometimes, you know, when you're working with paper, especially when you're drawing or, you know, sketching on it or coloring on it, it can feel different if it's not ideal for what you're using it for. And a lot of times notebooks are great for writing on, sure, or great for writing in, but they're not necessarily sketchbook types or, you know, something that you would create art on. And so it's kind of nice to see that this feels great and looks great. So, okay, so that's good. I'm going to move this somewhere else. I'm going to move this over here. So, done with these markers for now. Making your own planner spreads. Have you ever tried, sorry, Spicy, I saw the last bit of your comment. I'm using a makeshift notebook. Yeah, allows me to personalize spreads. Perfect, right? Have you ever tried bullet journal making your own planner spreads? I have. I've bullet journaled. I was bullet journaling for almost 5 years. So not, you know, not a lot of time, but enough time. I was doing it through busy times in my life. So the bulk of bullet journaling happened when I first had my kids, and, you know, I just had to jot down information really fast and also have my task listed out in a very easy to read way. So, you know, if I needed to know what to do at a certain time, looking at a list and being able to get the information I needed with as little time to set up all that stuff as possible. So the one thing I love about bullet journaling is that, you know, the idea of you don't have to make it look good. Like, I know in social media we see a lot of aesthetically pleasing bullet journal spreads, but we also see, you know, very functional, simple layouts, like Mark from Mark Your Pages. He's a great example of this, where you can use, you know, simple stationery supplies to make a very functional bullet journal spread. And I like the layouts and having them in a monthly, weekly, daily format. And just simply listing things out, right? And my current planning process is sort of bullet journal hybrid, where I like to set up spreads or task lists without using sort of pre-created formats sometimes. And also, if I do use like monthly or weekly spreads that are already created for me, I like to use them in different ways, just make them more functional for me. So in that way, it's kind of hybrid planning. Papagal, you briefly tried bullet journaling and it isn't for you. It's not for everyone, especially because you have to create those layouts or you have to create lists. And sometimes, you know, if you don't have the time, you feel like you're falling back and you're not prepared for the next day or something like that. It can kind of turn you off. So that's probably why I transitioned from full bullet journaling to hybrid, because I like having certain layouts done for me, especially a monthly and weekly format. And then the daily I do on my own, just as sort of a continuous log with some journal points in there as well. So I kind of like having different pieces of information in my pages. Off to meetings. Have a great week, Needle Girl. I'll see you on other streams. Mainly because I'm not good with taking the time to create an entire month theme. Yeah, themes are really hard. I tried doing that. And then I just got sort of caught up in like seeing what others were doing, what other people were doing, watching YouTube videos about monthly themes in their bullet journal. I spent way too much time on that. And so I just stripped it back to just mere, you know, basic, what do I need in my bullet journal or my planner, right? What do I need to keep myself organized and functioning? Right? So I think looking at it that way kind of helped me see that it doesn't have to, my planner does not have to be aesthetically pleasing. And I don't think it ever really has been because I just don't see the point of spending so much time on the look and feel of my planner versus the functionality of it, especially because I am a journaler, right? I do journals. I do journals. I do journaling. I have journals and I love to spend time in them. So for me, that creative aspect is in my journals and the functional aspect stays with my planners. And I you know, totally, there are people who combine those two and that's where they use their creativity is, you know, creating themes and layouts, and that's awesome. It just doesn't work for me because of functionality wise. I just don't have the time to dedicate towards my planner in that way. Yeah, it does look like Nice Favor, right? Whoa, Kiwi Inks something. There's a Bujo subreddit, yeah. Yeah, Bujo is a big movement still, right? So I don't need it to be fancy. Let's see. That I will say also the Alistair method of oh, this is what you're showing me. Papa Gal. We're like on the same wavelength. This is exactly it. This I actually really enjoy the functionality of. And I've used this Alistair method for years in like any planner that I use. Because it's great when you're forward planning or future planning, monthly, weekly, for the whole year, whenever, however you want to use this method. But using, you know, am I showing this to you? Yeah. Using columns dedicated to the time frame. So it could be weekly, like I do my chore list this way, where I have a column per week. So I just number the weeks, and then I just list the chore down the rows. And then whenever I get it done, right, I put an X in the column that marks what week it's in and what chore it is. And that way you don't have to rewrite certain pieces of information, or you can also just have, you know, simple layouts for a certain time frame. You could do it on a weekly basis too. So yeah, this is great. Use it for future logs or use it for weekly planning or whatever sort of works for you too. You don't want to get a Hobonichi or Jimon. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I know. Yeah. Planners and journals have no place together. I mean, for some people that's a hot take. I agree with you, but I kind of I envy people who can just have one notebook and have everything that they need to refer to and everything to do with their life in that one notebook. I love that idea. I've never been able to do it. I can't. For me, it just makes sense to have a separate planner and a separate journal because I have more than one journal for different things. And then as soon as I had kids, I had like a separate journal for like family related things that they could look at, and personal journals where like it's not for everyone's eyes, right? Um, but planning, I can only have in usually two books because one's sort of everything, a catch-all, or all the things, work projects, family things, personal things, whatever, social content, stuff like that. But then I have a planner that is just like the things that I need to know: schedules, appointments, meetings and stuff, daily tasks that are a priority that need to get done day specific. And that's like an everyday carry planner. But the layout and the content and stuff like that varies. So usually it's been like two planners is kind of my ideal spot. And they have to be, one has to be portable. So it has to be a size that works, that I can carry around. Desktop Nerd on IG proposed this conversation on his page about how much is too much to spend on a notebook or planner. It was fun to see everyone's thoughts. Yeah. Oh, your link is a 404. Oh, maybe because it has the... Let me just... There we go. Oh, no. That didn't work either. It's called The Travelers. Yeah. I have a swatch book and a daily notes book. Yeah. I like inserts. That definitely works. I'll not invalidate someone else for wanting to spend time making stuff pretty. Oh, for sure. For me, that's not practical. Yeah. I'm happy being 40 to 50% of the way with just colors. Hey, if you can make your planner look good, I am all for it because I love that. It's like inspiring. Aspiring. It's aspirational because I'm probably never going to get there. But I love that look of like having your planner look good. And the other thing too for me is I don't tend to keep my planners. I just don't. I keep my journals, and I have kept journals for over 20 years, probably nearing 25 years. I won't get rid of journals, but I don't like to keep planners. I just don't feel the need to, like, if there's any information in it that I need to reference, I usually just transfer that information to a reference book or a commonplace book or something like that, where I can reference it if I need to at some point in the future. But I don't need a whole planner to, for a few pieces of information that I might want to keep. And yeah, historically, I just don't tend to keep planners or notebooks with my tasks and to-dos and stuff like that, because I don't have the space for it, and I don't reference it I don't look back on it. Whereas journals, I love to flip through and, have that nostalgic kind of feeling of what it was like. Take me back to the time I was writing this or journaling about this. And bringing back those memories is really, really nice. So I like that. But it's to each their own, right? Like, honestly, planning and journaling is very personal. So however you want to make it work for you, do it. Do it in one notebook. Do it in 20 notebooks, right? Like, who are we to judge each other for how we do our own personal planning and journaling, right? So I use a daily catch-all planner and memory journal, a pen and ink journal, a travel journal, and sketchbook. Yeah. I do like compartmentalizing my journals sometimes, like having a dedicated travel insert in my TN. Because then if I want to look back on trips, I don't have to sift through different journals. I just have, inserts dedicated to that. Just makes it so much easier. Oh, here we go. Another link. Oh, wow. That is an ink. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, okay, I see. The ink has a red base with a heavy green sheen, adorned with blue shimmer. Wow. Oh, each bottle is handmade so you can ask for custom wetness, dry time, amount of shimmer or sheen. That's cool. I didn't know that about them. Kiwi inks. There you go. Are they New Zealand based? Because it's called Kiwi. Does someone know? Contact us. No. Okay. Oh, Gourmet Pens Shop carries them. That's good to know. Wow. Very cool. That ink is awesome. That would be so much fun to paint with as well. Just to really see all the properties. California. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Surprisingly well behaved. Okay, for all those properties. You got sheen, shimmer, you got different colors. That's very cool. I feel the same way on compartmentalizing the travel journal. Yeah. Yeah, I do like having it separate for like being able to look back on them, I think. Like, I don't mind so much having them in the same book while I'm sort of reliving them or like creating the spreads. But then after I store them away or archive them after the year's over, I'm kind of like, it's sitting, and you could index them, sure. But I just like, in my mind, it feels right to have like travel separate from real life or regular life anyways. Nebula Space Kitty too. Yeah, I have heard good things about Kiwi inks in terms of how interesting they are. They make custom inks. Wow. Recreating original dark lilac. That's cool. So if you're into like that ink, you're like, yes, I want it to come back. Like Lovely Blue. Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay. I have a little bit of time. So what I want to do is I want to use this reference photo, recreate this image or something similar to it anyways. But I want to do it in my MD cotton paper notebook. And I want to do it with coloring pencils, pencil crayons, coloring pencils. And the coloring pencils I'm using are Tombow Irojiten colored pencils. Now these come in different packs. There's something called the Tombow, what's it called here? Color Dictionary. So they come in there's 3 packs of colored pencils in one pack. And each pack then has 10 colored pencils in it. And there's 3 of these sets. So each set kind of is a theme. So like woodland is one. Which one is this? This one is something. But it just means the type of colors you find in it are like a certain theme. So it doesn't say on here. So each pack is sort of like you get a fluorescent, very pale tone and dull tone, and then each one is sort of, you know, different colors and stuff. So, yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I wanted to use them. I guess basically I wanted to use them to do this sort of practice of adding color and then creating the flowers, drawing the flowers on top, etc., etc. But I wanted to do it on this paper, on the cotton paper, and I find that it's really well. It's made for graphite, pencils, sketching, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I find it ideal for. And so instead of using marker, which is what I did in my Canopus note, I'm going to do the same practice, but I'm going to do it with colored pencils. So I just kind of want to see contrast and kind of experience creating these flowers and doing the drawing practice with different stationery supplies. So if you have a ton of stationery supplies, find the ideal paper for them that sort of enhances the properties and gives you an enjoyable experience, and do that. Use those stationery supplies and use them on their ideal canvas. Do not use copy paper for everything at all, if anything, but definitely don't use it with your art supplies if you can help it. Find the thing that works really well with it. So I think I'm just gonna do five of these flowers just because of space and time. And I'm using colors. I already picked out some colors that I think will layer really well to this sort of color theme. So pinks, a little bit of like a purple, magenta color. The reason why I love Irojiten coloring pencils are because they're very creamy and smooth, and they're great for layering. So, you know, you can start with light again and start building up your colors just by layering on top. And they're very smooth, so they blend really well. And they have a lot of colors. So it kind of depends on what you want to use them for, what you're coloring in, to find sort of the set that works for you. So yeah, this paper is great because it has that like grippiness to it, so you can feel feedback when you use pencil on it, but it's still soft enough that, you know, you don't have these very sharp lines. I'm gonna blend this a little bit, so. Plus the name Space Kitty. That's all we're about right now. Space and kitties. Glamorous Peacock. These names are awesome. Evokes like an image right away. Very colorful image too. You have a couple of samples from Neil Girl? That's awesome. Yeah. Very, very cool. Before I do that, maybe I'll do this first. And here. pretty good. I'm happy with that. Very cool. Okay, so again, similar to what I did with this drawing, I'm going to add some detail using a fine liner just to bring out a little bit of those details. Let's move that there. Okay. And again, using my 005 mono drawing pen. Oh, thanks, Pop Cal. This looks great. I'm glad. Yeah, I don't do a lot of this drawing practice using pencil crayons or colored pencils. So it does kind of feel nice. Probably because, you know, when you have nice paper, you're more likely to use your supplies. Well, it is with me anyways. If I have paper that I, you know, really enjoy with certain supplies, I'm more likely to use them. So, because the experience of it is not frustrating, it's not annoying in any way, it's very gentle, it's very relaxing, and that makes me want to use it more. So, this paper is really, really nice. And then this is echinacea. And with coloring pencils, I tend to think of them as for coloring, right? The purpose of them is to kind of add color to something. And so I find that I usually take them out if I'm adding color to something, not the other way around. So adding or, you know, creating shapes and outlines with coloring pencils doesn't feel like innate, like a, you know, natural way of using them for me. So that's why I usually turn to inks or paints or markers to add the color. But I want to use this notebook more because I got another cotton notebook in square size at the SF Stationery Fest, and I thought, yeah, I want to use it more. So this is me using my stuff, and you're here for it. So thank you. Thanks for the company while I do this, because otherwise I might not. I might make an excuse to kind of move on and do something else. But I figured I should do this on stream just to kind of have fun with it. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it is kind of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will say though, this notebook I got last year, I think, and it's kind of like an off size, right? It's not fully B6, and it's not a B6 Slim, but it's not an A5. So it's just like a size where I can't get a cover, and it was sort of sitting on my desk because I really liked the paper and I wanted to try it out. But now that, you know, I have another notebook sort of waiting in the wings, hopefully that kind of encourages me to use this more. So I'll do it on stream, so you're here to watch me. Make sure that I do it. Make sure that I use my notebooks. And hopefully use yours too. Take out your notebooks that you've kind of wanted to play around in, but for whatever reason, just haven't. But let this be your sign that you should take out your notebooks, take out your supplies, take out the supplies that you don't often use, because, you know, like coloring pencils or brush markers or whatever it is, inks, you know, take them out and play around with them a little bit. Find the paper that works really well with those supplies, and then dedicate that paper to using those supplies. Sit down, make some time, sit down and actually use those supplies on the paper, and enjoy the experience. And yeah, you know, do something relaxing that way, even if it doesn't look perfect, right? Like I said, I don't tend to do this too much, so already I'm kind of like, I think I prefer this a lot more than I do my drawing with colored pencils. But you know what, I like them both for their experience, and I love the process, even though they varied and they're different and they, you know, felt different, looked different, but they were both really, really fun, and it's just using what you have. So yeah, if you have any of these supplies, take them out, do it later, watch the replay, and kind of take time for yourself to do it too. Oh, thanks, Pop Out Gal. That's so nice of you to say. You used to draw with colored pencils more until I started with watercolor. Yeah, right? Maybe that's my thing too. I found other things, other mediums that brought me joy, and I kind of moved on. And then these colored pencils sort of sit around until I have to color something in a coloring sheet or something. But maybe it's time to bring them back. Oh, I like your company too, of course. I'm writing in my daily while we stream. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, they keep sending you emails. Tell them to stop. Yeah, even if it's for 5, 10, 20. Yeah, if you have a little bit of time, then just cater to how much time you have and how much effort is going to take you. So if you only have 5 minutes, don't take out all your paints, right? Don't take out all your inks and get frustrated with not being able to spend that 5 minutes doing it. Just take out pencils, take out, whatever you sort of have that is mess free, very minimal cleanup, very minimal setup, because that to me is usually the hindrance to doing something, is the setting up and the cleaning up afterwards, where you're like, it's not worth it. I don't have enough time to do it. But if you have, a limited amount of time, do the one thing in that time that you can enjoy fully. And then you're more likely to do it again. And if you have a little bit more time, if you can dedicate, 15, 20 minutes to just doing the one thing, take out 1 or 2 inks, paint with them. It's not a lot of cleanup either, as long as you don't spill it all. But, or take out a paint or two and play around with that. But yeah, do the thing that you can and focus on the doing, not so much, what it turns out to look like or what you expect it to look like. I love the flowers. Oh, thanks so much, Red Kite. Yeah, I like these flowers. I like echinaceas. I like the shape of that flower too. I love, it's a very simple shape, but it reminds us of a lot of flowers we see in nature. So even if you don't see echinacea specifically, you've seen the shape of petals in daisies and other types of flowers, gerberas even, and they are pretty common. So I think for me, it's such a familiar shape and a familiar flower type that it's really fun to draw. It's really fun to replicate. And the colors are really nice too. Very spring-like, very relaxing, and, really fun as well. So, but that's it for me. I am going to make some lunch and do other things. But thank you so much for being here. I love this time. I love starting Mondays on a creative note. It sort of sets me up for a week of creativity, of just thinking about, the next project I want to work on, or the next time I can pick up my supplies and use them. So yeah, thanks for being here and spending this time with me, even if you were in and out or lurking, or if you're watching the replay. Still appreciate you so much. Thanks for being part of the community. And next time I'm going to stream is on Wednesday. So Wednesday, same time, same place. Be here. Tell people not to book meetings. If you are able to join, I would love to have you here. If you want to do some creative things during that time as well, let's keep each other company, right? And probably on Wednesday, I will be painting with fountain pen inks and or swatching my currently inked fountain pens, probably, because it is mid-April, right? We're in April? Yes, it's mid-April. Usually around this time, I'm kind of set in my fountain pens for the month. And so I kind of like to document them in my currently inked spreads. And then I can kind of think about what I want to ink up for May or the next month. So that's probably what I'm going to do on Wednesday. So join me if you can. Otherwise, I'll see you in the replays. I'll see you in other people's streams, right? It's a community, so let's support each other and chat in other streams. Have a great day, Carol. Have a wonderful week. Yes, Papa Gal. As usual, nice to see you. As well, Spicy. I hope you do well, friend. sending you good vibes. I hope your week gets better and improves. Same to Bailey, who's no longer here, but when she gets back, good vibes for everyone. Yeah. Godzilla. I love that emote. I love that you're spamming the chat with it too, Spicy. It's hilarious. Have a good week on that note, right? Bye, Hellcat. Bye, everyone. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and take out your stationery supplies and play with them. Make some time and do it. I appreciate you all, friends. I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.